How do you do? I hope you'll read my columns, because if you don't read my columns, you'll never become an intelligent person. So look them up. It's on the American Prowler, WorldNet Daily, and Jewish World Review. These columns will turn you into an intelligent person. I don't care how stupid you might be. And I'm not saying you are, but if you're stupid, you'll all of a sudden become an intelligent person. Save your whole college education. You don't have to read a paper. You don't have to go any place in the world. You don't have to invest any money. Just read these columns and you'll become a hit. Now let me tell you something that I wanted to talk about in today's problem, in today's message that I have for you. Now this is a very, very significant, important message. I don't want to make any joke out of it. I'm talking about Michael Moore, the revolting, obnoxious, disgusting personality and character that this man represents. He represents the worst that America could produce. A man who is making fortunes in this country spends all his time demeaning, destroying, and debasing America. Its only pleasure in life is to find out why and how this country stinks. This is where he makes all his money. This is the country that gives him the privilege of the freedom to express himself. And he uses all the freedom of speech. Not that it's illegal, but it's immoral, indecent, and corrosion and corrupt personality that would do this. Imagine if you live in my house and I support you, and because of me you're making a fortune of money, and the only thing you have is to tell me how I stink, how I'm no good, how I'm worthless and hopeless, and I hate you, hate me more than anybody in the world. Wouldn't I throw you out of my house? That's why he should be thrown out of this country. He doesn't belong in this country. To violate the laws of this country, it's one thing to abuse this country, which is low enough. But now he directly and simply violated the laws of this country. He made a movie called Sicko, which I thought was really the story of his life. It sounds like an autobiography, because there's nobody who's a bigger sicko than this man. He represents the sickness of a deranged personality who's so ungrateful and so disgusting that it's like Rosie O'Donnell claiming that President Bush bombed the World Trade Center and killed our own citizens so that he can have an excuse to start a war. And these kind of lowlifes have influence in America. It's amazing how people are so ignorant in this country. Unfortunately, people don't read my blog. Some people don't read a paper. Some people are just plain ignorant. That's why up to 35% of Americans believe what Rosie O'Donnell and people like him talk about in America. They have actually said that we bombed our own building, and 35% of the people in this country actually believe it in the last poll. Now, how low could they be to have to... First of all, what right does he have to even go to Cuba? We know that it's a violation of every law to go to Cuba. And he belongs in jail. This is a simple fact that he belongs in jail. He committed a crime just like you commit a crime if you steal somebody's furniture in somebody's house. It's a direct crime. The Bush administration owes it to themselves and to just common decency and for the principles they uphold of a democracy, that our laws don't have exceptions to it just because a guy made a picture, just because the Democratic Party people support him, and the Democratic Party people are so low that not one of them condemned him for that trip that he just made to Cuba, which was in violation of the law and in violation of any decency. You know what he did there? He claimed that their health care system is impeccable and brilliant because you get it for nothing. And our health care system is the world's worst. You get it for nothing because it's worth nothing. It's worth less than nothing. If they were practicing health care in Cuba, if they were practicing it in this country in the same way as they're practicing it right now in Cuba, it would be outlawed. And the people practicing that kind of health care would be in jail because they're killing people every day with their health care system. Why do you think when Fidel Castro needed help in his old age because of his condition, he went to Spain for help? He doesn't live in Spain. He left Cuba to get help in Spain. You know why? Because nobody in the world would go to Cuba when they really have a medical problem. If God forbid your father or mother was sick or had a heart condition, would you say, you know what I got a good idea, let's go to Cuba for help? When is the last time you heard the medical system in America stinks? You know why? Because Cuba has the best doctors. It shows you what the quality of their doctors are, that 70 people went to Cuba, and this is an actual fact, for medical help. And 40 of them died eventually within 3 months. 30 of them got sick, and 2 of them are so disabled that they can't move. And this is what happens in the Cuban medical system. Everybody knows it's a hopeless, worthless system, but he'll use any kind of ammunition, regardless of how fictional and fraudulent, to debase and destroy anything about America. This man belongs in jail, and I'm sick and tired of the Bush administration's weakness on the subject of facing these vicious maniacs who are always destroying this country and violating the laws of this country and always letting them get away with it. We have no right to let them get away with it. They belong in jail. And if the Bush administration doesn't put them in jail, if they don't prosecute this man, there's something wrong with them. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. I support Bush in every effort to win this war. But the war over people like this is even more important, because they'll destroy America from the inside. Let's bury them once and for all.